Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Rama Rama, Hare Vancha Kampashu Vishnu, Jitanam Pali, Vishnu,
Visvadevi, there was a little tiny confusion. People were thinking it was at 5:30, so that's why there's not a lot of people here right now.
No, announced at 5 o'clock.
Hmm?
It was announced at 5 o'clock.
Really? I thought it was 5:30. I was listening too.
well, it's all right.
I know David Tahiti, there's a few moderators.
I know they asked me all morning, they came kindly and asked me what time. I wasn't sure. I was told
Well,
5.
they'll be here.
Yeah, that's okay, that's all right.
They'll be here.
I wanted to start with, because I didn't want to hesitate and like I was saying, I would go end with this and that. So I just wrote down some anecdotes and relevant stories about our time with Srila Prabhupada before and after the opening of the temple. And I hope it flows, naturally, from one story to another. Anyways, after the temple opened, there was different devotees that had different managerial positions, like Aksharananda Maharaj was our first temple president, and Surabi Maharaj was the architect, and Vinana was in charge of the construction, and there was all these different devotees. Okay. But because it was the first temple open in India, newly built and opened by Srila Prabhupada from nothing, I felt that he was acting actually like our temple president, and it was all these 6 different managers underneath him, because after the temple opened, right after, we used to go, after Mongol Arctic, with a walk, take a walk with Srila Prabhupada. We used to go for a walk right after Mongol Arctic, and we used to go out of the temple and turn right, and they used to be called Shatikara Road, and that's called Bhakti-Dot. Srila Prabhupada's name, so that was wonderful. Anyways, and it was just fields. There was absolutely nothing to the right. See the way we went to the right, and it was this beautiful green fields, and we used to walk an hour and a half with Srila Prabhupada. And doing those walks, because as I said, I felt he was acting like our temple president, because we were Westerners, and we didn't really have to deal with India's such different aspect of life and living, so he was teaching us. So every morning he should ask different devotees, for example, the pujaris or the people that cooking for the deities, like how much money was spent. Prabhupada was always very pragmatic, because he wanted to make sure that everything, every energy, every money, everything was returned to Krishna. So even when he lived here in his house, he had this bunch of keys all the time with him. There was a key for everything, and everything, there was a reason for everything, and everything had its place, and everything was just so. So he used to ask, for example, the cook, the devotee that cooked for the deities, how much was spent, like for making the sweet from Mongol Arctic, and after that, once they sold the maha, how much did they make some profit, because he wanted the deity to be self-sufficient and be maintained like that. And different devotees, all different, according to their services, and for me it was buy things, through his buying all the time. So I used to go to Vrindavan a lot to buy different things. The temple just opened because I used to work with Saurabh Maharaj's wife, Kishori, and so we always, I don't think we were quite together, and well, basically we always forgot things and had to go back and this and that. So Prabhupada asked me how many times I went to Vrindavan, and I said, well, every day. And he said, no, he said, you go once a week, and you make a list. And then, which I do to this day, but everything I make lists now. And so, because it was 1 rupee, I think, in those days, and it was quite a lot of money to go every day. So and that went for every devotee in a different department. Prabhupada was asking how things were progressing and guiding us, and make sure that everything went, that we could live amongst all the rich Dasis, because I mean, when we think about it, Prabhupada brought all these Western devotees in the midst of Vrindavan. There's all these Brahmins, modern Brahmin, and all these established temple for hundreds of years, and so he wanted to make sure that we there was in order to be accepted, that we had a proper standard, and even in small things like this is the thing about Srila Prabhupada, Krishna's, you really got to understand. I personally got a little bit to understand. To train your mind and raise your awareness that Krishna is absolutely in everything. There's nowhere Krishna is not, and those details matter. And so for preaching purposes, for instance, he made people used to hang their laundry outside like they do in India everywhere, and no laundry was to be dried if we were told off. And there was a temple commander had to go around and make sure there was no laundry. The man could never go out without wearing a shirt. Things like that he wanted to have us accepted, basically. And so this went on every morning. When I first came, it was before the temple opened, and Kishori was making the deity clothes for the opening of the temple. So I was very fortunate because that was my area. I was a pujari, and so she was on her own. So I got to. That's how I started to make clothes here, and I got to help her doing that. And Srila Prabhupada, oh so sorry, that's why I need to see my note. There was one little nice funny things. In the morning, when we went on this walk, I like chat, in this road on the right of the temple, wanted to right, there was this Bengali gentleman that moved in the guest house and made it open. His name was Pranab, and he was with his wife. He was quite elderly. And because it was Bengali, he used to speak with Prabhupada, they were very attached with his wife to Srila Prabhupada. So every morning, they lived here. They sold their place in Bengal and they moved actually in a guest house, and that's where they thought to retire. So every morning, so Prabhupada talked to us, and because he was always part of the morning walk, Prabhupada used to ask him, little by little, he brought the subject, so when you're going to be Vanaprastha and you're separate from your wife, because that's a time of life where you have to be, get yourself ready to, to live, Vanaprastha sort of life. And Prabhupada, half teasing, half serious, because, depending, Prabhupada knew how to deal with whom, according to what he could see, how to deal with them. So Pranab would say, yes, I will soon, one day, but Prabhupada would not let go. And many morning walks asking, so are you living, separate, from your wife? And because they were sharing a room in a guest house, and there was this kind of guideline about how you could live in a guest house, basically. And one morning, Pranab told Srila Prabhupada that he had moved out from living with his wife, and then Prabhupada guessed somehow that he said, where are you living? And he had moved right across the hall. So it was just, basically it was still, like that. So it was just a funny thing, Prabhupada. And they stayed till that thing that his wife left her body first, and they lived their whole life here. So to return to when I came to help Kishori with the deity clothes, before the temple opened, Prabhupada wanted to see the deity clothes, and so we brought them to him, and he looked at them all very carefully, and then he said he liked them, and he said it was a nice work, and he said, and this should last 15, 20 years. So I was kind of just over 20, and close to last 15, 20 years, I thought it was like the most, I couldn't even conceive, something, lasting that long, but, and another way, this is one of the instructions that I'm directly got to follow, because in Bombay right now they have clothes that, after 30 years they still put it on the deities, so that's one thing. I feel a little comfort that I managed to, follow it directly, because other ones it was harder to follow. Anyways, so, and after the temple opened, the first dress, for instance, that I thought to make, once the temple, there was 8 dresses, obviously for Visvadevi and the next one. And so I went to Delhi and I bought this blue velvet and red velvet, and that blue was so beautiful, that was called Balaram blue. And so Prabhupada kept on the deity things, how to make them. Probably now, on hindsight, I can realize who we were going to deal with. We were probably being cheated because we're not informed enough about how it all worked, and obviously they were going to cheat us in some form, some ways. So, we went back one day, Hare Krishna Maharaj told us that Prabhupada wanted to, see the plan for the new deity clothes, so I went back. We went back there, and I had a crown at this point. I was carrying a crown that this very short man in those days, the only karyगर we had at that time, his name was Shyam, and Kishore was showing Srila Prabhupada the night dress, which was a yellow affair with a blue border. And then he asked me, he said, "Did you make this?" And I said, "No, I'm not Srila Prabhupada." It was like, that was a crown, you see, the jari crown and everything. And then he said, "You should learn to make this, and you should learn well to make this, and when devotees come from the West, then you should teach them, and so we need not deal with the professionals anymore." And interestingly enough, really a coincidence, a few days ago I was reading Srila Prabhupada's lectures about deity worship and the rest of it, because in Bombay there's certain thing I'm trying to do there, so I was just saying, I better read the lectures, just to refresh my memory. And I came across a letter to Akshayananda Maharaj, who was, as I said earlier on, our temple president here. On the 29th of January 1976, Srila Prabhupada says to him, "I am very pleased to hear of the progress with the deity program, No Mukutwala." He says, and the devotees here should learn it. And again, he says, so we do not need to look at the professionals anymore. So it was nice to confirm that, it was not confirmed, but because I wanted to say this and to find that letter at this time was, quite a good thing to emphasize the point, especially in the light of, I was talking earlier on with Kusha and my daughter. I went to Vrindavan and saw Bipin's son. Bipin is the first Mukudwal I dealt with when I came here after this little sham, because he was small time and I needed, to do it. And he wasn't very, kindly inclined toward us and something. So I saw his son today. And Prabhupada's word really, really haunted me, because he is on it. He is he was telling me and my daughter how he's getting a studio and working with the computer, and his whole thing is to get all the deity clothes made by himself. And this is exactly what Prabhupada did not want. And they're profiting from it. And the thing is, the deities are eternally going to be standing there after we're gone, and after that, and they're always going to be festival. And to me, it's really a point of concern, and that troubled me very much, the fact that we have somehow not got that together. Anyways. Now, the one nice thing was about talking about deities, deity service, is that after the temple opened, devotees, Western devotees, never stayed that long in India. They had trouble with, they got sick very, a lot of them got sick quickly, and to adjust to the climate and the rest of it. And Vrindavan is very extreme, as you all know, cold and extreme heat and everything. So they all came very enthusiastically, a lot of them, and couldn't stay due to illness and everything. So they were forced to have the ladies go in the afternoon to wake up the deities. So we got to go to wake up the deities. The only time to go in the deity room was because there were never enough pujaris that could stay, for long term. Yes, one morning, Prabhupada asked me to say this particular story. One morning at Mangala Archik, because when the temple opened, Prabhupada has arranged that the ladies stay at Radha Krishna's altar, and then the men would be Krishna Balaram and Gonitai. So we always were in front of Radha and Krishna, and I always used to stand at the back where the stairs are kind of rounded. And one morning, I was standing at the very back, and I turned around, and Srila Prabhupada was standing there at the bottom of the steps. So I quickly nudged my god sisters, to move aside, because I imagined that Prabhupada could not see the deities because he was at the very bottom of the stairs. And later on, I asked Pendra, I said, how long was Prabhupada standing there for? He said, 15 to 20 minutes. And the thing is, no one, once you were around Srila Prabhupada, you kind of, we all never know him, you know, entirely, how he really is, what he is. We just, you know, growing, I mean, more and more I'm realizing now a little bit the mercy to have Srila Prabhupada for the spiritual master, and that's 40-something years after. But still you got to know his transcendental personality, you know, when you hear him, you read his books, and you see him, you know. And no one of the party that would do Srila Prabhupada, there was different people, Pendra, and different people were standing there. No one would have dreamt to go and tell the woman to just, or anyone, move on the side. Srila Prabhupada is there. I mean, because I asked Pendra, I said, I'm sure he couldn't see anything. He said, no, but he stood there, you know, he just wanted to be there, so nobody, you know, I mean, it's just I happened to turn around and see him. And so this is how Srila Prabhupada, you know, was. One night, the nice thing about my staying here this time, and I'm staying in the room, which is on the roof of Srila Prabhupada, and when the guest house first opened, I stayed on a small room next to that, and it was right on top of Srila Prabhupada's roof. And until he left, actually, that's where I stayed, and people used to come to take, you know, video of Srila Prabhupada, because when he was ill, he used to live and sleep on the roof, actually, and spend a lot of time on the roof. So it was really Krishna's arrangement this year that, you know, you know, somehow when I came here, this is where I got to stay. So one night, it was so hot, we used to sleep on the balcony. So one night, the wind came up so strongly and fiercely, and so we quickly, I was with a friend of mine, and we quickly looked over, you know, Prabhupada's roof. And he was there in the middle of, at his desk, transcribing and speaking in the microphone, and everything was flying around, and Upendra was running around, you know, frantically trying to put stone and things to keep the paper going, but Prabhupada never stopped. You could hear his voice, you know, in the microphone, in the midst of it all, you know, because that's what he did. He, I found out after, because that's one of the few offering a cook, not a cook, but the 9 o'clock offering is to have a puri, a little sabji and a glass of milk, because once he dealt with the day's business, that's when he could translate peacefully at night. So, and then he went on to translate it 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, like that. And that night we got to see him, and he had, Upendra later on, I got to know Upendra quite well here. And I used to always ask him all sorts of questions and beg all sorts of maha from him and things. And he said, no, that Prabhupada continue, he has scheduled that night to go, you know, to do that, finish that particular translation. And so he stayed on the roof with all the wild wind blowing around. And one thing also from the room I lived in, we used to see every night around 7 o'clock party. There's this gentleman called Babaji, he was Srila Prabhupada's friend, and Prabhupada enlisted him also to, because Prabhupada wasn't here all the time, and here we were the Westerners basically, you know, with all, you know, in the midst of, you know, Vrindavan, and so to help us and guide us and advise us how, where to go, what to do, and how to do things, and so around 7 o'clock party, and you could hit the bell, you know, when the arti was ringing. I used to go and always see Srila Prabhupada sitting with Babaji. Whenever Prabhupada was here, he used to be with Babaji on the roof. There was something else about Babaji. Yes, the monkey story. One day, Kshayananda Maharaj, our president, tells me, he calls me in Prabhupada's room, and he said that Srila Prabhupada has asked that I should make a monkey, that I should actually make a monkey, because I was not to do the sewing and everything, because somehow, I don't know who had told him that it was one way to chase the other monkeys, and they were all over his roof. And I'm kind of design clothes and do things and creative, but I couldn't even imagine where to start to make a monkey. I just knew I couldn't do it. And Kshayananda Maharaj had that nature, he had a very soft side, but he had that side also like your spiritual master. told me to make a monkey. You got to make a monkey, and he was that kind of, oh, I'm going to go to hell or something. And I was young, you know. I was like, you're good. You're telling me to make a monkey. I was like, so, like I said, I didn't even know where to begin. So what I did is, I'm a little good at delegating. So I asked Omar to go to Mathura, and buy a toy monkey. I mean, anyway, so terrible. So I went to Mathura and I asked Omar to go to Mathura and get a toy monkey. And when it came back, it was such an atrocious thing. It was this like ridiculous thing, and there's no way it would have been. I mean, realistically, the monkey would have never been scared of it. So again, I went to Balaji, who was always the one I ran to when I needed something, for so many things. Even when my daughter was born down the road here, his niece tended to, you know, being there to help me. So he always was the one I ran to for absolutely everything, from that to the monkey thing. And he says, no, he said, I said, what do I do? He said, actually, no, the monkey thing won't do anything. He said, you know, somebody, you know, told him, but it's not like that. He said, I'll come with you, and you must have slingshots. This is how these are very, you know, efficient and working the monkey thing. So he came, went to Srila Prabhupada's room, and he explained about the slingshots. So I you know, got away with that. Now the bell story I thought was also the bell. After the temple opened again, just like when we build anything, nothing is really completed entirely right because it opened. So there was some aspect of the temple that, you know, needed completing after the opening of the temple. And one of the things with this bell, when you go, which is now the samadhi, before that there used to be a fountain, and at the corner where the bell is, it wasn't situated, anyways, there was this bell, and again, whenever we went for that morning walk, everyone was always trying to go to, because Prabhupada was going there. Prabhupada asked somebody to ring the bell, and it didn't ring right to his ears. It was like, so then he suggested some changes. Like I said earlier, Prabhupada, everything had to be just so, because it's, and this is one that raises your awareness that everything is a pleasure of Krishna. That's what it's, our whole life and purpose of our life, and what Prabhupada trying to give us and convey to us. And by those details, your awareness grew really from understanding it like that. Nothing is too small and nothing is left. There's no accident, there's no, you know, nothing's to be neglected. So every morning for a few days, he had the bell ringing, and it's never quite right. And one day he was happy. And because you see, the way we understood it after is like, it had to be pleasing to Krishna's ears, you see. Krishna's standing there, he's honoring us with his presence. And so the sounds should, you know, be pleasing to him, not banging the bell. And just like another, something similar to that, one morning we were at Mangala Archie, and it was one of those festival time, the devotees came from everywhere, and it was such a loud, nice kirtan. And then someone came, I can't remember who, but and he spoke into the kirtan leader's ears, and Prabhupada had said that he was in his house and he was hearing, he said, Krishna just woke up, and the mood should be just so. Just like there's different light from morning, evening. Krishna just woke up and it's very soft and very pleasing. And all these things are to make you aware of Krishna's presence and to practice your life to seeing it and everything and everywhere. So, and just like another time when we go in the temple room for darshan, and we all go after Srila Prabhupada, and he goes down to Gonitai and Krishna Balaram, and when Krishna Balaram, his eyes went to the kitchen stairs because there was water dripping running down the kitchen, and he went, you know, like, so yes, so no detail where to be indicated, as I said. The car, yes. When the temple opened, we had immediately this 24-hour kirtan thing, and the ladies were allowed to participate. But of course, in the middle of the night, from 12 to 4, I think it was. And I know that, so one day it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, I think I was from 1 to 2. So I was going back from the temple room to the guest house here now. that's where the ladies lived in those days. There was no ashram as such, we lived in a guest house. And then after that we lived inside, but anyways. So when we went back, I just happened to see going past Prabhupada's gate, a Mercedes had arrived, and I know Mr. Krishna Maharaj was around. I'm not sure whether he drove it here or something, but I know he was there. And that they had brought Srila Prabhupada, you know, to India. I'm so sorry. So that Mercedes was there, and then a short time after we heard that Prabhupada rejected and sent it back because always Prabhupada was practical and pragmatic. He, in those days, should anything go wrong with a car, you have to have parts, imported parts, and it's such an expensive maintenance. And to get them and what, so he rejected, and this is when we got the ambassador's car, and I was pleased to see in Bombay last year that on Raji Yatra they still bring it out, and you know, and I think they have in Calcutta, Bombay, and you know, here. So that's another thing. Srila Prabhupada never AC, and when he said when we came to live in Vrindavan, he said we have to try to live and follow the principle of the Goswamis. Obviously, you know, to live like them, but that was the basic principle to very simply. And his house here, no matter how things progressed on what do you call material facility or whatever technology, but he always lived very simply and yeah, like that. Oh yes, when we first came, Srila Prabhupada expected us to learn Hindi, naturally, to live here, to be able to speak Hindi. And so we had this one man that came, used to come in the lobby here now, that is a reception, and teach us every day how to read. So we could all read, and this is an example of my foolishness. But at least I made Srila Prabhupada laugh, because ridiculous thing that I do. So we were in his darshan one afternoon, you know, and there's one gentleman that all the older devotees from those days must probably remember. His name was Mr. Dubey, and he was one of those, how should I put it, gentlemen that, you know it all and wants to help you all, and you know, a little bit annoying. And so we were in the darshan room, and Prabhupada asked us, he says, so are you like learning Hindi? And from the way we got to know this gentleman that was always here, telling us what to do, what not to do, the rest of it, I knew he was going to say, I can teach them, that he was going to, you know, offer. So I was not worried, but I thought, oh no, you know. So before he could speak, I quickly said, yes, Srila Prabhupada, we can read, we can all read. And then Prabhupada turned around and looked at me and said, you can read. And I said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. And said, can you speak? I said, no. And then he burst out laughing because it's such a ridiculous thing, and it's very me an intellectual thing and never a practical thing. So that was a little personal thing. And oh, and he said, oh, then you must learn to speak perfectly. After when I said I couldn't, and you know, I said perfectly. One thing that is nice is about Srila Prabhupada's sister, Pishima. When the temple opened, she came and spent a lot of time here. One of the things I did when I came, part of my pujari, deity clothing and stuff, like putting them away at night, you know, like I used to go in the basement and put them away with the devotee friend of mine near Mala, whose husband became head pujari here, Omkar. Pishima, when she was in the kitchen, she used to cook for the deities, along with this Indian devotee. His name was Nanda Maharaj, and actually I never was a Maharaj, but we called him that. But he didn't accept us. He did not eat from us. And so he used to cook for the deities along with Pishima. But so what he did is, because what I used to do is make the deity plates in those days. You know, part of my, like I said, service to the deities, I used to make. They were big, nice marble plates, Arabians got, and beautiful marble balls, multicolored marble. And so I used to come make the deity plates, you know, to offer, you know, for the pujari to come and offer. And he used to keep the pots of what he cooked separate after it was offered. So he could eat from that and not from whoever else was in the kitchen cooking with Pishima. And she used to always, I didn't understand obviously any of it. I remember Smari was there a couple of times and he thought he understood that whether she was getting on his case because he did this and would not eat from what we cooked. And the interesting thing is one of the Radhastami, I was thinking about that earlier on, I'm sure it's the first Radhastami. What happened is we decided with this devotee, God sister friends, Rasagya, she was a very good baker, and so we had an oven in the DD kitchen. Our oven could only have hold 4 cupcakes. You could make 4 at the time because it was in those days. It was like that's what it was on, and it was forever on the gas, and it took forever to make those 4 cupcakes. So we decided to do a big mountain of cupcakes, and decorate such as say that would be the cake for Radharani. So now here, again, because I don't know if it's the Orthodox Vedic something to offer a cake to Radharani was this sort of thing going on at the time when we first came to temple, and you had to, that sort of mentality that, anyways. So we spent all night, you can imagine just how many, to make all these cupcakes just to cook for at the time. And it was all decorated nicely and everything. And the strange thing is before 12 o'clock, Radhastami, the pujaris forgot to bring a cake, on the altar. So somebody went and did it. And then they made the plate for Prabhupada. He was in residence. And so we made a plate of Maha for Prabhupada. And when he came out, we were all always hankering and waiting for Srila Prabhupada's Maha. And when he came out, you could see he had taken a bite from the top cupcake because we had given him the top part of the cupcake. And it was like a little victory, for us. What's one important one is Lord Balaram's plow. It got stolen twice. It was heavy silver, and the first time it got stolen, I'm not sure what happened, but the second time it got stolen, Prabhupada was somewhat angry, and the head pujari, they were talking about it, because I seen once also somebody, I don't think I know, they took Srila Prabhupada's watch from his wrist actually on the altar. And so when the second time the plow thing happened, the head pujari said, Srila Prabhupada is such a rascal, I need to take Balaram's plow from the altar. And they're going to suffer so much. And this is such a. And Prabhupada said yes. He said they will suffer, and he will suffer half. He said because basically it was under your watch. You accepted the responsibility to take that position of head pujari to look after. It was you responsible. You were responsible to look after it, and you enabled the thief to do that. So basically, you did not do your job good enough because it's his fault that you facilitated that. So this is like, I thought, an important one because in everything we do, we have responsibility. Or in another case like that, somebody has taken money and it can happen. And it was, I think, in Bombay, and Prabhupada said, oh, it's Krishna's mercy. He said, no, it's your foolishness. Oh, Krishna's mercy. One thing I wanted to, I don't know how much time I have left, but it was to do with death, because, we all in the queue, so. The first time I saw anyone leaving the body here, it's a young devotee called Manisha, Auntie John's daughter. She had 2 daughters. She was not 16 yet, just about. And she had leukemia, and she stayed in a guest house here. They brought her here from Vrindavan, and nothing was working. And when I used to visit her, it was very, very strange. Her body was already emaciated, and she was very, very skinny, and she looked like not a man, not a woman. But she was kind of, somewhat peaceful. But her mother naturally was very much in anxiety, and she went to see Srila Prabhupada. It was Manisha the first time. I'm not sure about the first time, but the second time. And I wanted to say this because Prabhupada, it could appear to somebody that doesn't know a little better, but to speak of a lot better, from reading Srila Prabhupada's books, from hearing Srila Prabhupada, from following the process that Prabhupada is giving us. This process is perfect for you to not take another material body ever again. But it's just like when you have a recipe of a cake, you have to use one ingredient and you have to follow the recipe. Otherwise, if you forget one thing, you get something, but not the entire thing. So that, you know, that the analogy is like for this story, because she wanted some comfort from Srila Prabhupada, her daughter, you know, understandably so, was dying, and they were naturally scared, and it was terribly painful. But Prabhupada did not give it to her in a way that materially you might, you know, you expect people to give it a certain way, because Prabhupada kept going back to the thing, the point that, yes, but just give a prasad and chanting Hare Krishna and just, you know, and this is all she needs to do. But not that he was obviously, compassion is like everything else, you know. Prabhupada could be quite, like I was just, it goes with the story, I'm not going away from the story, but just like recently I read something really funny, Mukunda's book, and he was saying, they were asking Srila Prabhupada, well, it's to do with accidents. Anyways, Prabhupada always, never compromised in giving Krishna the way he knows. It has, that Krishna is giving very clearly, and people, he didn't change anything, or he didn't try to comfort you materially. He just gave, because he obviously knows best, and so Krishna has it is. So for Auntie John, she kept asking this question if Prabhupada was saying all this, and the thing is, she was his disciple, she was a Prabhupada disciple, Manisha. And we were all there, and you know, and after she talked to us about it, and Prabhupada kind of explained that, you see, that's his disciple, she's in Vrindavan leaving her body, and this is an opportunity that she need never take another material birth again, and that's above. I mean, that's the biggest help she can ever have, and it was right there for her, you know, like to just a little longer, and so he would not indulge in this sentimental material comfort, because this is like, you know, this is it. She could never be born again in a material body, and so he did not indulge in, and never compromise like that. Also, so to finish this, I want to say, yes, I wanted to be, one of my desires was to be with Srila Prabhupada when he was leaving, and I tried to analyze as much as I could to see why did I want that, and I thought, well, I just wanted to be my spiritual master, so I went with it, you know, and I was doing the outfits for the opening of the Bombay temple, and I had to be there, but at the same time, I was going to go without dress for here, so I had a good excuse to be here, you know. But once the Govardhan festival came and went, you know, to Krishna Maharaj, okay, now we must go to Bombay, you know, to do the dressing, but I was so, Prabhupada was not well, and I just so didn't want to go anywhere, to this day I'm very grateful that Krishna allowed me to do this, that I wanted, because actually it's the most sobering thing. Whenever I go a little bit, immediately I remember that time, that day, and it's such a sobering thing. And the point being that Srila Prabhupada went to America, especially being in Bombay, and when you see what the temples become like, and all the throngs of people that go there, and we read again recently that letter when Prabhupada, Thank you, Maharaj, this temple, I know it's about Krishna Balaram, but it's a point of the Prabhupada living here. He said that it must be the most opulent temple in Bombay, so throngs of people will come. Then they made me think, because Srimati Muraji, you know, helped him get the ticket to go on Jaladuta. So on the way, if you in Bombay and you see where she lives, you have to go past the Hare Krishna land. And we were talking about that just a couple of days ago, 2-3 days ago in Bombay. And so Prabhupada saw that land, and on the way to Srimati Muraji to ask help to go to America, and in his mind, and that's not speculation because we talk about it with Shri Kirti many times, and that's when he said, I'm going to have a temple, and he promised Krishna to have that place, because even Shri Kirti told me a few times that there was such hardship and so many obstacles to have that land that some even devotees said, well, Shri Prabhupada, let's get somewhere else. And how do we go choose something else? You know, another place. And Prabhupada said, no, I promised Krishna that very place. So Prabhupada, from like starting with nothing, literally nothing, and to how things have, you know, become. So when he was, I was thinking about all this, and him at the time when he was leaving, and we were all here, like, you know, we couldn't even fathom what it meant to live, to be, you know, in a world where Prabhupada was not physically present. Things from him living in America to being here in Vrindavan, all the centers he had opened all around the world. The more I read, the more it's unbelievable what I'm reading. I mean, I never read my whole body life, what he's giving us. And he left, you know, like here in Vrindavan, so he showed us how to be clean, how to cook for God, how to see God, how to hear what God, he tells what God said, because he gives us the words when you read, and you read the story. It's Krishna saying this, Prabhupada's telling us what Krishna's saying, what he wants of us. And then finally, this is what I'm coming to, is he showed us how to die, how to leave your body. And that last day when he was leaving, all people came, you know, from all the temples and the rest of it. And Prabhupada, anybody could go in the room. Well, first it was not so. Around 12 o'clock, 12:30, Nandalal was outside the door, and I went in, and they let the ladies around 4 o'clock. But it was open for everyone after that to come, and not many people could, you know, let you see them leaving. You see what I mean? But this was, Prabhupada was an acharya, and nothing was hidden. Nothing was, he was an acharya, so everything for everything. You could see him leave, which we did. And so he taught us absolutely everything. Just one last thing about this leaving, which really encompasses all for me, Srila Prabhupada. When he left, you know, we set him on the Vyasa, I mean, not the leaves, but we set him on the Vyasa, and all night long we had kirtan, and Prabhupada was sitting on the Vyasa. Then the next morning, and this is winter time, next morning we took him all around Vrindavan. I have pictures I showed him this morning about going around Vrindavan, and everyone was in the streets. Everyone was outside. Everywhere we went to all the temple, all the pujaris, the Swami, they came out with garland, incense. Everyone was in the street, and I thought, Srila Prabhupada came to Vrindavan for the Dasi Krishna temple. Imagine that, bringing a bunch of Westerners in the midst of Vrindavan, the way, you know, they do everything here, and when he's done all that, and when he left, not only they accepted us, but you know they all came out to glorify him, because Vrindavan is a place where they know the signs of dying, and on the practical, biological level, rigor mortis did not take place, and they know that here. Srila Prabhupada's body was very supple, and after taking him all around, we came here around noon, and we lowered his body into the samadhi hole, and it was very flowy, and to me it was like Krishna showing, glorifying his devotee for all to see. That he's Nityasiddha, he's in a whole different league and ever liberated, and his body is transcendental. And so, one of the things, I go back to rewind a little bit, it was around Govardhan Puja, I was saying, you know, about Govardhan Puja before Prabhupada left. Prabhupada actually wanted to go around Govardhan Puja, but he was not well. But there was two schools of thoughts in Tamal Krishna Maharaj. thought that Prabhupada is so ill, and out of concern, thinking, oh, he won't, like this, how can he, like, let's go around, go down. And then Hamsaduja started saying, well, Srila Prabhupada said he wanted to go, and we should take him. And as it turned out, he did not, we didn't take him around. We were all ready to go, ready with the bags at night, ready to go with Srila Prabhupada, go down here. But it did not happen. But Prabhupada, Krishna made his devotee being glorified, seen by everyone. The Acharya, the Jagat Guru that he is. As I said, is nothing he has not given us. And nothing has given us that in order to become completely Krishna conscious in this lifetime, not in this lifetime, should we follow this process like this. So from the time that he left Vrindavan with nothing, till when he left Vrindavan, the spiritual. And Prabhupada was always spiritual world, but physically leaving this planet from Krishna Balaram temple. So there. Would you like to ask me anything?
Visvadevi, I was talking to Dasi and Shakti Mati recently, and she was telling me that, because he was the head pujari for Krishna Balaram, and she used to help him dress Krishna Balaram. Do you remember that?
I have heard that, and I don't remember it. When I had heard it a few weeks ago, I didn't have no recollection of that. No. But the ladies went also like Nirmala. I was head pujari. She had to have. She went, and not this particular devotee. No. We have had a few head pujaris, like briefly, like Draupadi was only for a few weeks, Nitai for like a couple of months, different. No, I don't. But we went on the altar, yeah. I'm not saying it didn't happen. Yeah, like Nirmala, like I said, Nirmala used to go a lot because always a shortage of devotees staying, Yes.
At that time, there wasn't many Indian devotees in Krishna Balaram?
Yeah, they were. But not many, no. Mostly, yes. I remember a few at the time, definitely not. That's a good, interesting question.
So the Westerners were trying to...
When the temple opened, there were definitely more Westerners, absolutely, yes. Yes, there was some Bengali devotees that have come also from the temple in Calcutta and ended up living here. I can't remember their name. Most of them they like very attached to Srila Prabhupada. But I guess more and more later on. But at that time, no, they weren't. Yeah.
How long did you stay on after Prabhupada left?
I left the next day because I was doing the openings at Bombay Temple. There was no man had pujaris, we were last ladies had pujaris, and the temple was opening. That was Prabhupada, who is like such an important and dear project to Srila Prabhupada. Shri Kirti told me when I started to remake the deity dress that I hadn't done in a while. Once he said, these are the deities that Srila Prabhupada fought the most for. Because all the obstacles and the difficulties so I went back to Uspalika, a friend of mine that just, we went together and to prepare and do the opening of the installation of Radha Krishna, obviously, like Sitaram Rajmanaman. And because Prabhupada had left, I stayed on there. I mean, I love Bombay and the teachers, I'm still there now. But yes, the good thing is, that you bring this up, is later on I saw it was a good thing. I had so much to do, and was so busy, and it was such an important thing. Probably you should ask, are the clothes ready? Because I used to do it from here first for Bombay. And so sometimes he goes to Ravi, and I used to go with them. So I had that service to do. So and maybe not think about Prabhupada. He was so busy and so much to do, and you know, to serve him, you know, this project that was so important to him, in whatever small capacity, you know, that could do it was that responsibility. So it made me not think too much this later on.
So there was a small crew at this temple holding up, you know, doing all the service.
Yes, it was, yes. Like I said, the funny thing, a lot of them came but never really stayed. I'll just give you a funny example, maybe I should, I don't know. But well, some devotees sometimes came, they were so enthusiastic, it's a little funny, because it's Vrindavan and oh my gosh, I remember one day I was in Rukma, was one of them from New York, one of the many, and I was in the kitchen and he said, I'm in Vrindavan and I'm in charge. They put me immediately in charge of the DD kitchen. I was so excited, just because no one stayed. But in the DD kitchen, it was so laborious and such a hardship to get the voga, to go to town, to bring and maintain all these offerings, but it wasn't open, it was very, very high. And as you know, it can never regress. And it was so, well, it was not easy, you know, especially if you're not being trained, if you don't know the ways of doing it.
Everybody personally at that time?
Well, for the deity things, yes, I'm sure. But like I said, in those morning walks, and the only time, like Narottam, I know he's told me he spoke here, he's the one that said I should also say something, because we worked together with deities for 40 years actually. Bombay, here, Paris, and the rest, we should dress the deities together. And he used to always go and ask Prabhupada questions as well. He was became the head pujari. And so sometime I was there as well. And that's one thing I remember when Prabhupada said, you do this, you do that. But the important thing is, because it felt like, or maybe that could be, that Prabhupada wanted so much that we be accepted and respected and a temple established, you know. At the very beginning, I'm seeing when they were like just looking at us like from in another planet, and he said, if there's something you do not know, you follow Radha Raman at the best standards. I've heard that so many times. So, you know, there were guidelines like that, and yes.
I would like to ask you, how do you see when it really happened that this temple is accepted from the Vrindavan as a...
When do you think that it started? Yeah. I think it's a gradual thing. Mm-hmm. See, what I couldn't tell, I couldn't say really exactly when, but what happened, the temple became very popular. People came, so many people came, and I don't think they expected that, Visvadevi as such. And so maybe they were nudged into it after a while, but the thing is, we had such a nice standard. This is why Prabhupada was so, you know, obviously he did, but it shows you that he knew what he was doing. Everything always, that's why Pakar, the altar, the arctic parfum, the pujaris, and like when we went out, we told, you know, we always represented him, you see, that's basically what it was. So you took it also as your personal responsibility. Whenever, you know, I mean, I personally, you know, I don't have private life, nothing. I'm always representing my spiritual master, and you become, here you really became more and more aware of that, because of, it was, you really saw that Prabhupada expected you to be a certain way in order to help that process of people, you know, and it became so quickly hugely popular. People came from all around, and more here actually. So yes, so it got like that, I suppose.
And when it become busy? Like,
yes, it was busy quite immediately.
Immediately?
Yes, oh yes.
So Srila Prabhupada was still here when...
Sorry?
Srila Prabhupada was still here when...
Yeah, oh yeah, yes, yes, definitely. And it doesn't matter who, but there was an instance when sometime, you know, Western, shall I say, Western, the way Westerners behave or interact socially, it's very different from, you know, like when people are used to. And sometimes some did not, when very tolerant, like for instance, I'll just give you an instance, and it doesn't matter who, it's a good instance, I think, to hear about how, what we had to be aware and conscious of. One devotee, there was some sahajiyas that came, you know, and one was that dancing really wildly in front of deities and everything. And our temple commander at the time wasn't very tolerable with him, and he actually got him out the door with the kitchen and pushed him out the door because he thought he was creating a disturbance and everything. He thought he was doing the right thing, I'm not saying. But Prabhupada came to hear of it, and what happened is, well, actually it created really bad reaction. A lot of people came out the gate. They were very angry at us. So it was not a good PR thing to do, and I can't remember how it got resolved, but the next day was pretty bad here. But the other thing was, Prabhupada had said something to the effect. You see, they come from anywhere and everywhere, and they come here. They come here to see Krishna. So you just, let them be. I mean, unless they're really, violent or something, because he also, like in Mayapur, when violence took place, he actually did take action, because this is Krishna, his property, he lived there, and we have to defend him. But it depends on circumstances, but here, so we had to learn also how to behave and treat, the Indian visitors, yes. And we had to learn everything, I think. Yeah, pretty much everything. Yes.
When did Vibhu Chaitanya start cooking?
Right after the very beginning, yes. Yes, I think after Nanda Maharaj left. I can't remember, but I know he's always been, from the very beginning, yes. Afterwards, not immediately, but afterwards, definitely, yes. Yes, it's nice you bring him up, yeah. Hello.
Prabhupada did the Aratik for Krishna Balaram on the grand opening day.
Sorry, yes.
So, who did the other two altar Aratik?
Do you know? It's a very good question. I'm ashamed to say that I don't remember.
I always wanted to know.
Because I was going to talk about this because I didn't see the relevance, because it's to do with me, in the sense that I'm trying to, when somebody talks about Prabhupada, sometimes it's about them. But I was in the deity room actually when the deities, after they got bathed and everything, and when they removed Balaram's, I was standing there with Kishore, which I remember was there, removing the band after the base, and the eyes are covered. But I know I was squashed right at the very front of Prabhupada doing an article along with some other police, some people, different police people, and dignitary that had come. I'm afraid I just don't remember. Yeah. Speculate on that. And the Jai Chaitanya, a lot of older devotees were there in the deity room after the deity were bathed and cleaned, and to change them into their clothes, and because we had made the clothes, I went to Kishori, and after that it's yeah, no, I don't remember. Anyway, Hare Krishna, God bless the Srila Prabhupada. Sorry.
The standard of the deity worship that we have now, like the dresses, you think is the Prabhupada standard?
So sorry?
The standard we have now,
Yeah.
you think is to the Srila standard?
I'm sure it is. Well, one thing I can say, that he had said, we should show Krishna's form, that I can safely say. His beautiful form, it's all about that. So sometimes, and I'm not just saying just about here, but this is something I know for sure he said several times. Sometimes you don't see it because there's so many things going on, and I can safely say that, yeah. It's really important to see his form, that's what you meditate on. I mean, I make deity clothes, and I try to visualize in my mind's eyes, how Krishna will look in this and his form has to be, I'm sure other devotees heard it, because it's so many times he said that, and I don't always see it in temples, and it's a shame, because he wanted that, and I can safely say that.
And the dresses?
I'm going to say something that's maybe not my place, and maybe I'm here just... One of my concerns, because it's to do with deities, and you see, because also in Paris Ishwar there have been problems with Srimati Radhamani's face. You see, to put too much color, I think one should be, I'm not implying or presenting anything, but I was talking about it with Narottam just a couple of weeks ago. you see, if it's chemical and everything, and it's like, first it's not nice, this is Krishna. You know, I won't have chemical on my face. Anyways, to put too much, so they had them that Shrimati Radharani, and actually it was quite a serious problem, the Shrimati Radharani in Paris. I've seen it close up, and I know they've been talking about how to deal with this, the spot things and everything, because we have to think that Krishna is going to be eternally there, way after we're gone, and way after we're gone, Krishna is eternally going to be here. So, and that's something Prabhupada did speak of, about what to wash and ways, and also about GT clothes, always natural fabric, pure silk. Just in case, I'm so glad I remembered to say that. Yes, always, separate, but always pure silk, natural fabric, yes, the best you can. I hope it's not about this, you know, putting chemical and saying to what we put on instead and how you wash it. Again, I was in England not long ago, and I walked into Srila Prabhupada's room, and the head pujari asked me to come to look at something. So anyway, I went in Srila Prabhupada's bedroom, and he was washing Srila Prabhupada because it was Prabhupada disappearance day. So we spoke of this, him and I, about, you know, how you clean Prabhupada, which you clean, and there's different. I talked to Malati about it, and she says she heard about it. He must have something, the two-space thing. I don't know. It's just, I just think that first it's Krishna. What you put on him should be nothing but, you know, pure, and that also we should think in hundreds of years. You know, I mean, those deities of Goswami, they're hundreds of years, and so we should be very conscious. I feel, and I have an opportunity to say that because that's my area of service. To think like that, to think in hundreds of years. Hare Krishna, hope.
Which year you came here exactly?
I visited, and I came here in 73, and I came back in 74 instead of...
73, that's it?
Yes, but I visited, and I went back and came back in 74 instead of... 73 instead of...
You have any association with Mother Yamuna here?
Yes, here briefly. But she was leaving. But, yes. I've known her more in the West. No, not in India, no. I wasn't that early devotee at all. No, much later. I mean, they joined way early. Yes, no.
One more question.
Yes.
On Ekadasis, did they offer grains to Prabhupada and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati and Gaunita altar?
If they did at the time.
Yeah, or did they make Ekadasi Prasadam separately, or
they
what?
Didn't do it at the time. I don't know. After that, now it would be better because he was the head of Pujari. But they did not at the time. The plates. I used to make the plates.
There were 10 plates, right?
Yes.
One for each deity.
Not. How long is it? What's the time? Because now Tom told me not to speak for 2.5 hours.
We have time. If you have more stories.
Yeah, we don't want
Yeah.
to go.
Alright, let me see this.
Time is not a
So
problem.
this thing I was hesitating to say the milkman, the milkman thing. Oh, one thing I can say, yes, see, I was trying to, I didn't want to go on and on, but once Kishori and I went in early on to, you know, Badrinath, Kedarnath and all that. And so Kishori being a cook, we were in Dehradun, which is on the way there, and she brought rice for Srila Prabhupada. Look down rice from Dehradun, basmati rice, which is available here, but it was a nice sort. She wanted to have that for Srila Prabhupada. Nice rice. So when came Prabhupada asked about the journey there, that Bhagaji again very kindly had given us like a servant girl to come with us, but here were 2 Westerners, and she had her children as well. So going in the Himalayas, you know, like to the Dams and to all, you know, going, you know, to all those places. And so she had come with us, and when we came back, so we told them what we've seen. While living in Rishikesh, we stayed in Rishikesh, and we were really strict in those days. I mean, we're not, but it's like Mayavadis, like, so because there's all these Mayavadi places. So when we were in Rishikesh, we stayed in, it was called the Bhajan Ashram. It was not always what it is now, like. where they had Mongol arty, and you had to follow everything in order to be in the ashram. So we stayed there quite a while, almost a month there. And every morning, you know, the deities are in the middle, you know, and then every morning comes down there at Mongol arty and all that. And in Badrinath itself, we actually, because again, it was all my Avajis. So we stayed in some, they moved the cows for us to stay, the people from the Badrinath temple, and we had Maha every day. It was really nice. So when we came, we told Prabhupada to do the thing, but the one thing in Rishikesh, when we stayed 1 month in that Badrinath, they had helicopters all the time. And we found out that it was because the buses fell. Full loaded buses of people. They used to go to those places. But when we had gone, we figured if we take the local driver, he goes up and down all the time, maybe he's safer than the spiritual, tourist thing. So we were telling Prabhupada, and he talked about collective karma. And it was very interesting. It was the first time I heard how, so how it's your karma, everyone, how it's all arranged. Again, yet it showed you another of how, that there are 33 million demigods that take count of everything. That's what they do. So at the end, of your life, you're accountable. And so they all, that collective karma, they all go down with that bus. And it happened. When we had gone, it was another thing I was going to say, that because you are asking and saying it. When we had gone, it had opened up the year before again, after a long, long time, because blocks of Himalayas rocks, they fall, and the road is very narrow. So it takes them so long to clear it and everything. So we also had said that. And he actually said that that one day those places would not be initially accessible at some point, because people are so sinful, so many sinful people were going up there that actually one day will be shocked, because we're saying about, like that. But here, yes. And one nice thing about Prishima, maybe I should say, it's not, but Prishima, when she lived here, she knew, Kishori Moscow, she knew us from the beginning, and so Kishori got this dinky machine to make juice. It was this huge, heavy affair that, took 2 people to, carry, and then in her room, and it took us all afternoon to make us sing half a glass of juice, because the originals were this big, by the time you had to fix it to the table. But she liked to have us around, so she tolerated it. After all afternoon hard work, all she had is a half glass of orange juice. She was there when the Prabhupada left. Can I say something personal? When Prabhupada left, she was there, as I said, and we went to see her with Palika. What happened is Gopal Krishna Maharaj had, contacted the whole planet about Prabhupada, leaving. But I think you remember Aditya, that Bombay was the last one. Sorry?
We were not told about it.
Yes, but I didn't even know it was right, but because I saw you arriving after it was all over. Do you remember? Yes, I remember, because I don't know if you remember, I was helping walking Prishima. What happened is one day Prabhupada's sister slipped, because it's in the winter, it's very wet. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked me to bring her, I didn't know Maharaj can bring her back. Because we lived there, she was on the ground floor and I was on the second floor. Oh, one nice thing she did, she used to walk around with a Ganga Jal all the time, and then to purify everything. So whenever she saw my keys, she knew it was Bhagavan Silai Kamra, so she used to drench everything. And so she wanted always to see the DT room thing, which was on the second floor inside that courtyard here at the time. That's where I lived. It was actually morning, and we actually lived there, and it was just a sewing room, that's how it was. And then, so whenever she wanted to come up and see the DT clothes, what was a new thing we were making, I was making, in that room, they used to want me, Vishwa, we're coming up, so I could cover everything, because she used to come and just drench everything wet and in room things. And anyway, so like I was telling Aditya just now, what I was very surprised, so even after Prabhupada left, I helped her walk, and this is one of those videos and everything always next to her, because she could walk very well. She used to hold onto my arm, and so that last morning after Prabhupada, after you and Pulika and everybody, Prabhupada I think also came from Bombay, Prabhupada was in the Samadhi, wasn't it? Aditya, do you remember? And she was, yeah. And so it was having a walk and her face, and I remember you said you were completely shocked because she looked so like Srila Prabhupada. And I remember the Bombay devotees, including yours, like staring and saying, what are they staring like that for? And then afterwards, it's because it was like seeing Srila Prabhupada. And after a few days, Pulika and I went to visit her. And I was one of the saddest saying to me, she was, like I said, on the ground floor in the room there, which is a restaurant now. And she was sitting on her bed, looking out the door. And because it's a, what do you call it, the ground floor, there was no sun coming in, except from the entrance here. And she wasn't seeing us, Ivan. She was just looking out the door with the sun coming in her, and she asked in the Bengali, little Bengali, Pulika knew a lot more than I did, about like, you know, who's gonna, like she can't cook in shukta anymore, she can't do all these things anymore. And strangely, that's when it hit me most. You know, sometimes things you're so busy, you're running, and there's little things like that, you know, like, yes, you know, I mean, there's no, so there was no tomorrow as such, you know. And yeah, and one nice thing about also Srila Prabhupada, one day his son came in Davan Chandra and asked him, we're all in the room, something, he wanted to speak to him privately. I just came back to it. I mean, I remember it from time to time, I think it's nice to say. And Prabhupada said, he said, no, they my spiritual children, you can say it, you can hear him, but not. Yeah, yeah, and just we're not like saying, you can speak it, you like that. Anyways, it's a good opportunity to be in a holy Dham and to ask forgiveness for all the offenses I know I have committed to those feet, you know, Srila Prabhupada, the deities, and all the devotees. So please accept my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna.